have enabled it. Okay, thanks for recalling me. So, okay, then I'll then switch over to you, people. In that case, so you can try out the pig assignment, and I think Abhijat, you are facing some issues, so I'll come to you first, and let's look into the issues which you are facing. And by the time other people, please try on that pig exercise. So Abhijat, shall I give you the control?
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm gonna start from the beginning now. I've deleted all the files, so
Okay.
yeah. Give me the rights, and I'll show you what I'm doing.
Sure. So by the time others also please open the PDF and the data set. You have to import the data set into your SDFS and try out. There are 2-3 simple problems over there. Just try them out. That won't take much time.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see your screen now.
All right, so I've put those two files here in user lib u Abhijat.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
And now very simply,
Abhijat, you have not yet placed the file into your SGFS word. You have just placed the file in your Unix word till now. First, you have to move the files into your SGFS.
Miraj, quick question while Abhijat is preparing the queries, right?
Yeah.
So the second problem, I was able to do the first one. The second one says apply filter on any stock that starts with a C. And that is after doing the grouping. So I did the grouping, and after that I'm trying to apply the filter.
So Akash, yeah. So first you just define that variable which you have grouped up. So that will give you an idea how it looks like. So first apply is to just first do a define, and that will give you the group name, that is group, and what is inside the group.
So it gives me a group, and then it gives me a tuple.
Tuple, yes. And the name of the tuple is the variable name from which the group is derived.
Right.
Right.
Now,
so
how do I access the stock variable inside that tuple in my filter query?
No, you have grouped on what criteria?
I've grouped on stock.
So then you can filter directly on the group.
Okay, that's fine. So a group filter on group works.
Yeah.
Now I also have to apply a filter on day as file.
Yeah. So that you can do is you can apply a dot variable. The top name dot the what we call that. Matlab, your if your variable name was daily, so daily dot symbol.
Daily dot date, right?
Uh, yeah, if that is a date, daily dot date.
Yeah, but that doesn't work. It gives me some error related to regex.
Oh, okay, just a minute. Give me just 2 minutes. Let me look over here. Then I'll come back to it. Just give me 2 minutes.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so I'm here trying to put the file.
Okay.
So where should I go in the Hadoop file system?
Wherever you want to put it, from wherever you want to load, you can just put the file over there.
Is this fine? Because I don't really know the structure of the Hadoop file system.
Yeah, you can put it anywhere. Either and if you don't know, you can just create a directory, always a new directory, and use that. So, Akash, I've just paying you something. Yeah, this is how you will be looking at the inner variables. Hi, Kamaljeet. So now Abhijat, you have placed into temp and Abhijat 1. So it's fair enough. Now you can load it from
The
there.
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is fine. So this gives me the average, and this is fine. I was able to get this working, but
Okay.
the next one
so next one was a filter, right?
yeah, filters.
So for that, basically you have to apply the date functions, right? You have to apply a date function on the date, and that would be something like this.
So I got the date function get day,
Okay.
but I'm not able to access that particular variable daily dot date.
So, but why you would apply the filter on the group? You have to apply the filter on the directly daily, because here we have to filter the dates. So
Yeah,
you would be,
the problem statement says do the grouping and then apply the filters.
okay, I also don't remember that exactly. Let me just open it. Give me 2 minutes. So Abhijat, you are just moving the file.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay. Okay, so here you have to use nested group by, and okay, so I have not changed it. So you can use it here something called nested group by. Akash, I'll just ping you how to use that. Give me 2 minutes. I'll just ping you how to use that nested group by.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's easier to just apply the filter.
Yeah, apply the filter and then group by. Yeah. Otherwise, it's easier, but that is also highly useful if you use group by something like this. You would be highly using this kind of group bias. 1 minute. I don't have that handy. I'll just ping you the link. So if you Google nested for each, that will give you a help how to do that.
Okay, I'll take a look. Let me take a look.
Nested for each will by that you can achieve this thing. But if you filter prior loading it, that is also a good solution. Yeah, so Avijat, no such file order. So first you have to create this directory. Avijat, you can just do a Hadoop fs minus mkdir and you can make this directory /Avijat1. Minus mkdir. And now you can create any directory and there you can put it.
Is it my machine which is so slow, or?
Yeah, but you know, sometimes it takes time. There's a communication which is happening with the name node and your name node is slow. Taking a lot of time.
Okay, I don't want to stall the entire class because of this. I know what I'm doing. If I get stuck, I'll chat you again.
Sure.
Okay, because this was the first problem I was facing. Beyond this, it should be really straightforward.
Yeah, you have to first move the files to SDF and then you'll be loading it from SDF. So just try that out and yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So quickly, before you get away from my screen, do you think this makes sense? The notepad thing, daily is equals to load this as this?
dev is equals to load this as yeah, as and then whatsoever the name you want to give. Yeah, fair enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
And divs too. I'm gonna do divs too. I'm gonna change this thing, but pretty much
Yeah.
everything else is going to be the same.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I'll get going from there. Thank you, Miraj.
Sure. Not a problem. So anyone else is facing any issues?
Yeah, Miraj, actually,
I am.
Okay,
No.
Akash. Go ahead.
Yeah, Akash.
Do you want to take a look?
Yeah, I'll just come to you. Hi, Kamaljeet. I just saw you. So we are just trying to do the picks hands-on. So just trying those problem statement for the pick, and
Okay, Miraj. Okay.
okay,
Yeah, tell me when you're able to see my screen.
not yet. Mm,
Okay.
yeah. You are saying
So this is
filter.
what I'm doing, right?
Okay, filter daily by stock matches.
Sorry. Okay.
So filter daily by stock matches this, and filter you can directly use and will work. You can give two conditions in a same line, and
Sorry.
again your screen is gone. So yeah, and then yeah. So are you getting any error?
I
Today.
like, show you.
Okay.
So when I run this get date, right?
Just a minute. When you are doing, yeah, get date.
It's look at the setup here.
Grant care only. Uh, line regex type null lock type different error. Okay. Okay, so can you define this fifth day? Just to say describe fifth day. Just type over it.
Yeah, it says unable to find operator.
Unable to find. The operator is error unable to find operator for alias fifth day. Is that gone? Okay, the fifth day is not defined. Sorry. Before that, you have to define. So fifth day is not yet defined because that gave an error. Sorry, you have to define this. Start S with C.
Yeah. I just did that. There is some lag before you see it.
Yes. So now we are doing get day on date, and date is our date time. Okay. Okay. So could you just quickly dump just the date part of this variable over here? Just dump the date part of this, or define this or illustrate this variable that will, or illustrate it that will show you the date time also. Acha, arey, this is a problem. There is a problem. There is a problem. Type up and up again. There was a problem with your query itself. You have to type it something like this. I'm just pinging you on the chat window. You have to type it something like this. So you have to type it something like this. So matches will work for your string, but you have to type it something like this.
Okay. Yep, that works.
Works. Okay. And you can give both of them in a single statement, something like this. With just syntax here. So the syntax differs somewhere and somewhere, but the technology always remains here. You can filter both of them in a single statement, something like this.
Okay.
Sure. Okay. So Rohit, I'll come to you now.
Okay, Miraj.
Okay.
Okay, can you see my screen, Miraj?
Not yet. Yeah, now I can see you.
So Miraj, see, this is the folder which I created, user u pig, and I have uploaded these two files.
Okay.
Okay, and I have these two commands written actually. So this one I am running.
Okay, fair enough.
So actually the problem is somehow I'm getting some error actually, 1099 or something. So
first thing, Rohit, where is your dot text? There is nothing called dot text over there.
Yeah, I tried without dot text also, but it was giving me problem. So let me remove dot text. So it did, I think, definition. So when I do dump wall,
instead of dump, you can do illustrate. That will be faster for you. Okay, so you are getting an error. Map only message Java null pointer exception pig output format. Okay, so type up again, up arrow. One more up, load NYSC as exchange carrier stop carrier. So I think you did some issues with the variable names. Just a minute.
Is this the problem? I mean, missing a...
No, missing is not a problem, but if you are trying to typecast some variable which is at different position, that might create a problem. So let me check what is your sequence of the variables.
Okay.
So this is the position of the variables. First is exchange, then is stock, then it's date, then it's open, high, low, close, volume, adjusted close, adjusted close, looks fine, and again, just one more minute. Show me the query again.
Yep.
Yes, and you are getting an error Java null pointer exception. Null pointer exception user hue. There's a problem, right? So see, you failed to read the data from user hue, users hue pig NYSC daily. Your file is lying at this location.
Yeah, my file is lying here.
No.
User
hue pig NYSC daily, and go back over there on the console.
User hue pig.
And if you can see the inputs fail to read, it's user. Yeah.
Okay.
Now you can just illustrate here. Correct?
Yeah. So do I have to run this command line by line, one by one, or
You can
okay, I got it.
copy them, but better one by one, because in each line you might get some errors. So like in the previous line you got error.
Yeah. So
Your script failed to parse. What you did is gvol is equals to group wall by.
stock.
And that worked fine, but after that I think the next line gave there is one more line. Grunt average wall is equals to, for each gvol generate gvol dot stock comma average gvol dot open comma average gvol dot close, and it gave an error. It gave an error because script failed to parse input scalar projection gvol. Okay, could you illustrate gvol?
Yeah, it shows.
So now you can see the thing is the first thing, or the key is named by group, not by symbol. And what you were generating was symbol. So sorry, stock. So that will not be fine. So you have to select group rather than symbol. And if you want to change its name, you can select it as. You can give it as a name, new name that you can definitely do as.
Oh, okay, okay. So here, if I change group, it will be fine.
Yeah. Otherwise, you have to do some. Yeah. And now you can give it any new name, whatever you want. But this is what you have to do.
Okay. So even group fails.
Take script failed to parse invalid project for invalid scalar projection G wall for EACS G wall, and G wall. Oh, one minute. G wall invalid scalar projection G wall. Sorry, G wall generate.
Okay, I think
No, not
G-wall is not
not
valid now, right?
no. G wall not G wall dot group, or just group.
Oh, okay, okay.
We have already given it a projection to look into GWall, so now we don't have to give GWall dot something. If you have to look somewhere inside, now again this will fail. The second reason is because your back is named as wall, not the GWall. So you have to refer something inside back by the wall, not GWall.
Okay. So if I illustrate average wall or dump average wall.
You can just now illustrate average wall, that will give you average for each for at least one stock. Otherwise you can dump it or store it in some directory, better option.
Okay. Okay, Miraj, I understood. Maybe let me try further things here.
Sure. anyone else facing any issues? So Akash, were you able to look at nested for each? That will by that you can filter on the groups also. If you look into nested for each.
I did not search it yet. Let me
Yeah,
take a
but when you are really working with Big, you would be using nested for each a lot. But that is a little complex, so I'll just skip that part. I wanted you people to understand the basics first.
Yeah, I was not able to figure out how. I tried a lot, but I could not find an easy way of doing it. So I did not know about this nested for each.
Yeah, nested for each is an option when you can, apply different operation inside for each. So that's a kind of for loop.
Okay. Oh, I see it. Okay. It's like a nested query. So inside a for each.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So Miraj, what is the use of the second table there? Dividends we have not used in the problem, right?
And the third problem you will be using it.
Okay. So Miraj, if we are running these big commands in a batch actually, right, keeping all the commands in a file and then we run,
Yep.
can we put illustrate there?
No, basically you can put it, but
so it will keep on.
Yeah, you can put, but that will not help you anything.
Yeah, so illustrate or dump, it will not do anything. It will just display on the console, but it will not write something in the output file, right?
Yes, you have to use store. Yes.
Okay. And normally pig is used in more in batch mode only, right? So, I mean,
Yeah,
a lot of data analysis and then whatever output is.
All of these things you will be using in batch mode only. This mode you will be just used for development or majorly for your development or looking into the data ad hoc. But practically your queries would be running at the back end in ad hoc mode only. So, sorry, in the batch mode only.
Okay. Okay. And yesterday you were saying that you use some 1 terabyte server. So is that some production server you are talking about? And what kind of server is that? Because normal computers will not support 1 terabyte of RAM.
Yeah, so 1 terabyte RAM in my cluster on which I work on.
Okay, I mean combined, all the machines have 1 terabyte, right?
Yeah,
Whatever
combined. Yeah,
clusters
yeah,
there.
combined. Yes, yes, of course, combined.
Raj, for the third problem, I'm trying to do a join on the two tables.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the tables has the date field as a date name, and the other one has the date as a char array.
So
when I
okay.
try to join on that field, it gives me an error.
So that you can either load both them as a char array or both of them as date time. If they both have same format, you can load them as date. But if they have little different format, better load it on char array.
But I cannot. So I can do that, right? But
Yeah,
I cannot do a join on different data types.
yes. So okay, can you show me the data? Let me. I am just coming to you. If both have time field or not, I am not sure. So this has the date field and okay, 1 minute. Let me make you the presenter. Can you show me both the data sets? So I think one has time and other one has do not have a time. I think might be.
Even I haven't looked at the data, so let me just quickly check what's there.
So if another one do not have, one has the timestamp, another one do not have the timestamp, you have to do first service string prior joining.
Substring on the char array and
On the char array, yeah, on the char array you have to load both. Yeah, you have to load both of them as a char array and substring the one which has the timestamp, remove the timestamp and then do the joining.
Okay.
But I am not sure whether it has time or not. So by the time it's opening on your PC, I'll check on my PC only. Investing dividends. Okay, dividend do not have time and daily. Now both of them do not have time. You can load both of them as either as date or both of them as char array. That would work for you. Both of them do not have any time.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any other problems? Anyone facing?
So this matches, Miraj, this matches function is applied on the char string, right?
Yeah, you can either use equals to or matches.
But match will match at any position in the string wherever that.
Actually, match is a border option. Match is something like you like in your SQL. Otherwise, you can use equals to.
Okay. So then in equals to, what is the equivalent for star or?
Same thing, regex, same star only.
Okay. Because date is big, right? But if we are doing equal to, how are we making sure that we are comparing only the last digit?
Date. Okay, so that there you have to use there is a function called getDate that will extract the date from your date part. Basically, day from your date part.
Okay.
So you people can try on. I'll be back in 5 minutes by the time you are trying on. So, people, are you able to run up? Green, are you trying up? Oh.
Hey, Miraj,
Yeah, Vijay.
see if you see my chat. Yeah,
Why?
I
Okay.
said my code. Why doesn't this average close open work?
Group daily by stock and average close open for each G stock generate. Abhijat, now if you describe your G stock, so that has not direct projection to open. So you have to project to open, and open is inside your G stock. So you have to say average G stock dot open, average G stock dot close. If you do a describe on your G stock,
Okay, I'm trying.
so you can see there are two things. First thing is your group, and other thing is inside your other thing are inside your daily. The bag name is daily, and then other variables are inside daily. So if you refer something inside that, you have to say daily dot open, daily dot close.
So Miraj, for the last one, right, I did a join.
Mm-hmm.
Then I did a group. So basically it says find the max dividend.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to do is I did a join, then I did a group on stock.
Okay.
And you can see my screen, right? So this is what I got so far.
So I and C. Okay. Screen. Yeah. Group tab by stock. Okay.
So this is what I have. I have group GRP stock. Now what I'm trying to do is run a sum of dividends for every stock.
Sorry. Sorry. So I'll just mute others so that we can hear up. So yeah, now you can speak.
So this is what I did as the next step.
For each group stock, for each group stock, generate group comma sum. Yeah, fair enough.
Now this gives me some error.
Okay. Tab join. No. So now you have tab join has daily colon stocks, daily colon date, daily colon tab. So you can't directly refer to dividends.
Yeah. So should I do something like this?
How to refer it? Try it. I am also not 100%. Just try it out. Or I think we have to give colon or dots. One of them would work. Not colon over here. I think colon after that. Tab join dot dividends colon dividend, I think.
Uh, no, it doesn't work.
Okay, 1 minute. Let me check. I just a minute. You are looking inside the variable, and that is probably colon or something only. Could you just ping me what you typed? Let me just cross check it over here on my console.
Sure.
So,
Sorry, my PC is very slow.
okay.
I'm checking the internet. It says use double colon.
Double colon. Yeah, probably I think double colon. Yeah. Colon or double colon would work something over there. Abhijat, are you able to get it or still getting an error?
Hey, it's very slow, but I think I'm getting it. I just did illustrate of average close open to see what values I get.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
that's
I'll
good. Yeah, yeah, that's fair enough.
Did you find anything, Miraj?
Double colon did not work?
No.
Okay. Can you just ping me what you were trying? Just let me cross check it over here. I did not try it. So I was just typing something else. Could you just ping me what you were trying out? Let me try it over here.
Sure.
Akash, I'm just waiting for your ping. What you were running?
Yeah, my machine is too slow. It's
Okay.
trying.
Not a problem. You can just ping me. I'll send you the exact later on also. Anyone else facing any issues? So this double colon will work, Akash. That works. Double colon works.
So double colon after what? So dividends. So the table name double colon the field name or the group.
So say you have joined dividend with stock, right? So
Yes.
you have joined it by symbol. So after that you can just say your dividend colon symbol.
No. After that, I've also done a grouping.
After that you have also done a grouping. So your bag name dot your whatever is the name of dividend colon date. Double
Yeah,
colon
that's
date.
not work.
That's
not work.
okay. You can just ping me. I'll cross check it over here. That would and should work. I would cross check it over here. Not a big team. I was just confused. It's colon or dot, but it's double colon. That I've checked it. You can ping me even later on. I'll cross check it. Anyone else is facing any problem? Okay. So, Akash, Akash, you can just ping me. I'll cross check that part. And
Okay.
so if everyone is fine, let's start the next topic in next 10 minutes. Is that fine? If everyone is okay and able to check, able to run your programs.
So Miraj,
Miraj, I want.
Yeah.
go ahead.
Sorry.
Rohit, you want to go ahead first?
No, please.
Okay, so I got the illustrate thing. I'm not able to match up the numbers. The average, the illustrate showed me CII number to be something. I did that in Excel. I'm not able to match it up.
Abhijat, the illustrate will just illustrate a variable that will just take a sample data from your record set, whole record set. It will not load your whole record set and will just, based on the sample data, it will just give you sampled output only. So illustrate will not give you the real output. Yeah, for the real output, you have to dump it or you have to store it in some directory.
Okay, so the sample data might not have all the records for CII. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sample data would be just reading a sample of a block or a record, and that is used for illustration purpose.
Okay. Well, I have to try the other examples too, but it is, it's like extremely slow over here. Maybe it's my computer or my internet. I don't know. So I'll keep trying, and if I have questions, can I come back to you?
Sure, definitely. Definitely, you can you can directly drop me an email.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, Rohit.
So I tried second problem. Just wanted to show you the commands which I ran.
Okay, just a minute. Let me come to a screen. Akash, I got a command. I'll just try it over there and just check what is the error. Yeah, Rohit.
Yeah. So Miraj, I may have got it right. Just checking, just double checking with you. So this is the volume table. I created volume variable. Then I was running a group by on gwall by stock. But when I do a filter on gwall, it doesn't work. Actually, I have to run the filter on volume, because can't I run a filter on gwall?
What is this? Filter gwall equals to group wall by stock. Filter wall. Filter wall by get date. Okay, so Rohit, for a simplicity, right now do one thing. First filter it and then group by. If you do a group by and then filter, that will make it little complicated. Let's do a filter. Let's follow an easier approach for timing. So first filter. So for each.
Yeah. So that's what I have done, and it has worked actually. But that's what my question was. If I do a group by first and then try to filter,
no, for that
does not work.
Then you have to use nested for each. So
okay.
So you have to for each inside this you have to do the filtering. So if that is the nested for each, which I have not shown in the filter.
Okay. So here what I have done, I have just created the volume and then I ran the filter, both the filters. Then I did a group by. And then I just
this would perfectly work fine.
Okay. Thanks, Miraj.
Thank you. Okay. So let's before starting the new topic. Abhijat, you had some problem, right? Or was it resolved?
No, I had no problem.
Okay.
My problem was resolved.
Okay, sure. So let's take a 10-minute break and then start the streaming part. If you are still facing any issues, you can just directly drop me an email or we can discuss it after the class also, not a big deal. And Akash, I'll just look into what you were doing and I'll get back to you on this. There might be some small mistake over there.
Okay.
Okay, so let's, it's 9:46 EST. Let's meet at 10 EST. Then we'll start the streaming part, and the streaming part will take around an hour time. Hi everyone, I'm back.
Hi, Miraj.
Hi. So Akash, what you were doing was correct. Only the thing is you have to do double quote something like this. So this will work. What you were doing, I've just added few more logic to that, and it's working perfectly fine. So I think you were making two mistakes over there. First thing is the sum should be in capital, and then that tab join dot div and the corresponding variable inside that. So that did not have dividends. That is, I think, loaded as a divs in your data set. So colon divs colon divs. Just plan that out.
There's dividends in my data set.
And I just tried it out also, and it's working fine. And
why should sum be in capital?
what thing can't be in capital?
Why should sum
Some
be in?
some be in capital only, as I told you in one of my slides. This is case sensitive word. Your operators and your functions or user defined functions are case sensitive. So your operators are not case sensitive, but the functions are case sensitive. So I just added two more lines in your output and just change that thing only. To refer it to daily to colon adjusted close and colon divs. I think that was divs only in your that's the reason I changed it. Divs only.
So I tried the same thing what you have done, but I had sum in small.
Yeah, some in the small, yes. So that will
now it's working.
Yeah. So this works and give you but this will not give you an average of daily. You have to choose a little bit different logic.
You have to do a max after this.
Yeah, before joining this, basically, because right now it will do an join. So for all the records, so for all the records, basically, the dividends for all the traded value will be joined. So there will be multiple rows for each dividend for each traded value. So this is not a correct solution, but this is how you have to do it. Before that, you have to basically group the dividend, or you have to apply a little bit more logic before joining it, so that you get an average, perfect average.
So I have to get the max dividend, right?
Max dividend, but right now you have joined directly the stocks with the dividends.
Yeah. So
okay, but you have joined on the date also. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So then it's fine. But when you have joined it on the date, you would be missing out. Okay. So from here,
I'll just get a max of this
of the dividends. Okay. But in that case, again, you have to find out for those stocks. So you have to find out those stocks from the daily, and you have to do an average. Right now, I did average and daily sum over here only. But practically, you have to choose that stock symbol, and have to filter that stock symbol from your daily and find out an average for that stock symbol.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Okay then. Anyone else? Any problem before I start on switch over to? Yeah, Rohit.
Miraj, just I'll take 2 more minutes. I'll not drag more. So for problem third, what I did, I defined dividend and volume table, and then I did a join of both dividend and volume on symbol and stock, and then I did a group of the join table by stock, and then I did a sum of dividend on that group table, and I found a stock name and then sum of the dividend, right? Now I have to run the operation where I have to find the stock with maximum dividend, and then I have to loop with some existing table to find a average of the
average of that stock adjusted close.
Okay. Okay, Miraj, you can go ahead.
Okay. Okay, then I'll take the control. Okay, just a minute. Let me open the PowerPoint of Hadoop Streaming. Okay, I hope you can see my screen. Let me discard all the changes from the previous class. So till now we were looking into the MapReduce world, where we were writing the mapper and the reducer part in Java. But for the people who are not acquainted with Java, that is no one want to learn Java for writing the MapReduce word. Everyone want to use the technology on which he is acquainted with. Moreover, writing Java code takes a lot of time and other things. You have to create the jar and things like that. So we have looked into Hive and Pig, where you can use normal scripting languages, pretty easy, straightforward languages. Hive, SQL kind of language. You can add the backend that will generate your MapReduce code for you, and you do the data processing. But think of I have to apply some analytics on my data, or I have to write a code in some other scripting language which I am familiar with, or say I have to apply, say I have to do sampling on the data. Say I have to do some k-mean on my data, and that there I have to use some statistical functions to find out the k-mean of my cluster data, and that is possible with something like R. So for these kind of things, Hadoop provides us something called Hadoop Streaming. Here what we can do is we can write out our mapper and reducer code in any of the scripting language, which can read your data from the standard input and can write your data to the standard output. And if your streaming language can read the data from a standard input and can write the data out to standard output, you can pretty well use that as a mapper or a reducer. So rather than creating your mapper and reducer in Java, you can use any scripting language like Python, Ruby to create your mappers and reducers. How that is done, let's look into that. So I was just talking about these things only. The communication happens over the IO, standard input and standard output, and that is a mode which is used to communicate or transfer your data between your streaming language and the Hadoop framework. So, and this is pretty useful for people who are not acquainted with Java and they have to use some their own languages which they are familiar with. So you write on mapper and reducer. Only the thing is they have to listen. The mapper has to listen on stdin and reducer has to write on std out, and rest all remains same. So your mapper will get your key value pair. Your reduce. Yeah.
Miraj, if you are showing any slide, I am not able to see it. Design Pathshala is what I could see.
Oh, okay. Is that same with everyone? No one can see my screen?
No, I can't see it.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
We can see it, Miraj. Sorry.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
Kawaljeet, I think there's some issue at your end.
I would reconnect.
Okay. So basically what I was saying is only the thing is your mapper will get the key value pair, your reducer will emit the key value pair. In between there is a short and simple phrase which is applied to your data. Only the difference is now you are getting the key and value pair in your streaming language, and you can parse your key and value pair in your streaming language as the way you want, as the way we were doing in MapReduce program in the native Java world. Only the thing is the technology has changed. Now you are listening on. Now you are basically processing your data with the help of any other streaming language. So again, the same thing. The default format key is key slash tab value, and each record is separated by /n only over here. Now you can change all these things. And now it's again the programmer's responsibility only to select that correct key and value pair to process your data. So if you can think of your data in key and value pair, you can easily write your streaming jobs. So this is a little change over what we have discussed till now. So if you look into the Hadoop 1.x pattern, we had something called task tracker and job tracker. So your mapper or reducer code was initiated as a separate JVM process inside your data nodes. Then your streaming process will also be initiated in the same data node, and your mapper or reducer would be talking to a streaming process on the standard input and output. They will be sending the data to a streaming process on standard output and standard input, and the process data or which is coming out of the streaming process would be then passed over to a sort and shuffle phase, and the sort and shuffle phase will be passing it to the reducer at the data node, other data node, and that reducer will be passing it to the reducer streaming process, and the output from the reducer streaming process would be passed on to the reducer, and that reducer will be writing your output to the corresponding SDFS files. So it's the same thing, only the thing is two more things added over here that is your streaming processes, and these streaming processes, mappers and reducers will be listening on your corresponding mappers and reducers and getting in the data and producing out the output on standard input-output pipes. So as I was saying you, by default, these are key and value pairs are separated by tab. And the reducer input is same as your mapper output. Reducer writes your output to standard output. And this is what I said right now. So how you can test this thing is pretty simple. If I say something like echo this sentence and okay, I'll come to this part, just wait a minute. I'll show you this part in a minute's time. So to write a streaming process in Python, what I have to do is I have to write a Python mapper which will have a function which will read from a standard input. There I'll get the key and value pairs. I'll separate the key and value pairs. I will emit some key and value pairs from there. Those key and value pairs will be input to my reducer. Before that, they would be sorted in my sort and shuffle phase. And on the reducer side, I'll be aggregating my keys and values based on my logic, and will be producing the output. It's almost very same. But before that, let's try to look at some simple examples of this streaming word, and then I'll show you the Python example. So here what I am doing is, where's that example gone? Yeah, here it is. So here what I'm doing is, I am saying my mapper is nothing but a Unix command called cat, and my reducer is nothing but a Unix command called word count, WC. So my data would be read and passed to this Unix command as cat. Cat will not do anything great. Cat will just emit the data as it's coming to it, and WC will do the word count on your data which is coming to the reducer. So reducer will do a word count on your data. So this simple command, as you can recall, we were running the Hadoop commands with Hadoop zar, the zar name, input path from where I want to read the data, output directory where I want to write my data, and the mapper and the reducer. So here mapper and reducer are defined over here only with minus mapper and minus reducer. So minus mapper, I might have written over here my mapper.py Python file, my reducer.py reducer file. reducer Python file. But before moving to that, let's look into some simple examples. So here what I'm doing is on the mapper side, I'm just saying cat, and on the reducer side, I'm just saying the word count. So let me open the console. So this output also I've got for the top 5, which Akash, your program which I ran. So what I'm doing is I am, this is one of the text file which is there in my SDFS Word. So what I'm saying is this is my input, output is going to this directory, output directory, and mapper is nothing but cat, and reducer is nothing but word count. So this is exactly similar to if I write something called Hadoop fs minus cat, this thing, and this will be streamed into your mapper. So mapper is nothing but cat. The data would be sorted, and reducer will do a word count. So this is exactly similar to this thing, but if I run this command over here, I'll be running it on my single node and my data would be processed on my single node. But if I run this whole command, this will go to your multi-node cluster, your data would be processed across the data nodes, and your whole distributed logic comes in picture. So both of these things would give me similar output. Now let's try to run this. So what we are doing is, instead of writing our mappers in Java word, we are writing mappers in any of the scripting language, be it Unix scripting, be it Python, be it Ruby, anything, whichever can read your data from IO and write your data to standard outputs. So here instead of writing the whole shell script, I've just given the direct Unix command, and this will be triggered on your data. I could have written the shell script also, and I would have passed the .sh file also here also. But instead of that, I have just written this Unix command, and Unix command is not doing anything great. It's just getting out the output, and word count is not doing anything great. It's just doing the word count. So word count gives you 3 counts: the number of words, number of lines, number of words, and number of characters. And if I say WC minus L, that will just give you number of lines. WC minus W, I think, gives you number of words. So at the end of the file, I was also getting the output file, so it's exactly the same. So now only the difference is now my program has ran on the multi-node cluster, and that's the example which I was telling you people yesterday also. I was running one of the RS script on 35 GB data, I think last week, and on one node which has 100 GB RAM approximately and 32 CPUs on that node, but still it took me approximately 2.5 days to run that program. But then I use Hadoop Streaming to create our mapper and our reducer, and in R I was doing the sampling of the data, and it took me just 25 to 30 minutes on the cluster to do the streaming of whole data. So this is how you might be using your different languages to do the data processing. Only the thing is your algorithm would be written in your favorite or your choice language, and if that choice language can read on input output, you can do the processing on a multi-node clusters. You can basically do a parallel processing, and all the thing will remain same. If your job will fail, Hadoop will take care of it. It might pass your mappers to different locations, different data nodes. All those things are taken care at the back end by the system. So the beauty of the system remains same. Only the thing is how we are interacting with the system is changed a little bit. So any questions over here?
Yeah, Mira, but you are saying that when you run with the simple script, actually it is not using the cluster, right? But Hadoop is all about the cluster parallel processing or big data processing.
Good. So what I said is if I run something like this, here I am not doing any Hadoop command. I am just getting the output. So I am just reading the file from Hadoop and giving it to Unix commands.
Yeah. So this will run on single computer, right?
Yeah, this is running over here only on my Unix console. But when I ran this MapReduce program, that has run on the Hadoop cluster. So if you can see, when I ran this program, Hadoop Streaming, this ran on my cluster. It created all your MapReduce. It created your job tracker. It created your job. Now this job is trackable on this application ID. All these things happen at the backend.
Okay. So I mean, you are able to push the jobs to cluster basically without writing that much code actually.
Yes. So say I just want to do a word count rather than writing that MapReduce program, I can just say cat and wg. So I have just written this 3 lines of code, and this has given me the word count in my program. Not for each word, but the total number of words. I can write a simple script to find out each word also. We'll show how to do that in Python. So rather than writing that big code in Java, creating the jar and all those things, we can do it very easily over here. Okay. So let me switch back to the PPT. So in this example, what I'm doing is I am again doing Hadoop jar, and so this is the jar which we'll be using for streaming. So streaming jar is already there in your sandboxes. You have to just point or use that jar for running your code, and each time we have to give the streaming jar as a Hadoop jar. And the location of this jar is probably this thing only, or I'll share you the location, that is user lib, probably this thing only. And the input file, output file. So here what I'm doing is on the mapper side, I am saying cut minus F2. That is, so cut is a command to cut your data. So what I'm saying is minus F2, that is the second column, and delimiter for my data is comma. So based on the comma, it will find out the second column and will cut the column. And the reducer side, I'm just saying unique, so it will produce the unique values. So again, I have given a Unix command over here to do my data processing. So this is how you can easily chunk your data, change your data. If you want to do some processing on the data very fastly, you can do it with the help of direct Unix commands on your great amount of data. So here I'm just finding out the second column of my data and finding out the unique of that and dumping it in some other location. So let me switch back.
So what exactly is jar doing here?
Hadoop Streaming.
What exactly is the jar doing? Because what you wrote, those are the Unix commands, right?
Those are the Unix commands, but that need to be submitted to your Hadoop word. So when you submit your job to your Hadoop, you give, if you remember, you give Hadoop jar and jar name, and the jar contained your job related information also. Job.set, mapper, job.set, reducer, job.set, combiner, around all those things. So this Hadoop Streaming jar has all the logic. Only the thing is now you can configure your mapper and reducer outside. So we are passing the parameters to this program as our mapper and reducer from outside, and this at the backend will do all the thing for you.
Okay.
So if I say cat, so here what I'm doing is I'm cutting the input data based on the comma and finding out, Kamalji, I hope you can see my screen now, and finding out the second column, and the reducer side I am just doing the unique on the data. So it's very much similar to if I say Hadoop fs minus cat and this file. So let's look into this file first. So this file has nothing, but it has 4 or 5 rows which are separated by comma, key 1, comma, value 1, key 2, comma, value 2, and so on. So, and in the mapper side, And before that, let me just change this file and put two values with just duplicate, just put one key one pair so that unique would make sense. So give me a minute, let me just change it quickly. And this file is lying over here. So I'll just go and change it quickly from the UI. By the time, if anyone has any questions, they can ping me. It's taking time, okay, leave it, but you will get the concept. So what I'm doing now is, if I say cut on this data, so this will just produce the second column. And if I say sort this data also, this will sort my data. So this is your mapper as well as short and shuffle phase. And if I say unique, right now all the values are unique, but if there have been some duplicate values, those would have been filtered. So, and now I can do this thing. I can pass these commands to the Hadoop word, and this will create a MapReduce code, and this will do a parallel processing of your data for this kind of processing. So practically you will be writing your big scripts to do the data processing, but sometimes you have to just change the data or do some processing on the data, smaller processing kind of thing. So you can directly give your commands like this also over here. So let me run this as such.
Mira, just a question.
Yeah.
So this jar is a very generic jar, and it is taking parameters only about the functions which we do normally in Unix or Python.
So this jar is a very generic jar, definitely, and this all you have to do is you have to just define what is your mapper by minus mapper, what is your reducer by minus reducer, and similarly you can define your other things also, combiners and all those things. And you have to just give the parameters to this jar, and this jar will, rather than using the default ones, this jar will use these ones. If you don't define anything, these will that will use the default ones, as you have discussed in our MapReduce program. So right now the default input format is used as, right now the default input format is used as text input format. The default output format is used as text output format. So all those default ones are used. If you don't define them, if you define them over here, the default ones are not used, and these are the default ones are overloaded with the one which I define over here. But the two things which you have to definitely define is your input and output locations. So this will make more sense if I'll show you more examples. So any questions over here by anyone before I ask some question? So as I was saying, okay, I hope no one has any questions. So let me ask a question. So as I was saying, your mapper will get the key and value pair, reducer will get the key and value pair, and it will emit the key and value pair. But you can see there is no key which has been printed over here. When I was doing CAD, there was no key concept. On the reducer side also, what reducer got has been printed. I can't see any keys. Only the thing which I can see are the values. So are we missing something over here, or what is happening?
Is it adding an identity kind of thing and maintaining in the backside?
No.
To make it key value pair?
No. Okay, I'm leaving it to you for you to think, and let's think, and I'll get back to this point. Okay. So as I was saying, everything is configurable. You can even pass your Java files also as a mapper. So here I'm passing my identity mapper. If you can recall, we had to discuss something called identity mapper, which is nothing but takes a key value pair and emits a key and value pair only. Same, it does not do any logic on your data. And the same way reducer is, again, I have used identity reducer. So this will also not do anything. This will just take the key and value pair and will produce the same key and value pair. So rather than giving my streaming, rather than giving any of the scripting language, I can also give the Java files directly over here, and those can also be used. I can define other parameters also. We'll look into them in some time, but let's try to run this, and then I'll ask the same question again. Sorry, not this thing. So I say I'll just delete the output directory first, and then I say input output mapper, and I'll use that mapper, and I'll just copy the file name to here. Oops, sorry. And the input from this location, output to this location, and minus mapper and mapper class, and minus reducer and the reducer class. And that's all. Yeah. So here, rather than giving those Unix commands, I have given the Java files as mapper and reducer, but the mapper and reducer are nothing, but they are the identity mapper and identity reducer. So they won't do any logic on your data. They will just dump your data as they are getting it in the same key and value pair format, and that will be dumped to your output directory. So my output will come over here, and we'll just see the difference between what was coming up with the cat and what will come with these identity mappers and reducers. So let's say Hadoop fs minus cat slash paste. So now you can see there's something called keys also printed over here other than the value, but when I was doing cat, it was just the data which was printing up. Now any guesses?
Is it taking offset value as a key?
Yeah, offset values are definitely the default reader is your text input format only. So when the text input format is a reader, your key would become the offset value and the value would become your real data. And each record is separated by selection.
Okay.
So what I was saying is this thing. When I was using something like Unix command, those kind of commands, your keys will be discarded because those are nothing but your byte offsets. So your Hadoop framework discard those keys while before passing your data to your Unix command, and that's the reason when I was doing just the cat kind of thing, I was not able to see the keys. I was just able to see the data. But when I used identity mapper, it passed the keys and values both to my mapper. And that's the reason in the output I was able to see both the keys and values. But when I'm reading this data on the streaming input output on the mapper and the mapper and reducer side, I'll just show you over there how that works over here. Here the keys are discarded because your default reader is text input format, which creates your keys, and keys are nothing but the byte offset values, and those are discarded before passing your data to those cat and the cut function which I was showing you. And the same way the output format is your default text output format, and your keys and values pairs, if you write them, those are separated by default /tab only. And as I gave the mapper and reducer, I can give the other classes also. I can create those classes in my language also. I can define my partitioner in my scripting language. I can define my combiner in my scripting language. I can give the Java class name also. So all you have to do is just minus partitioner, minus combiner kind of thing, and I can write anything. This is how you can define the other parameters also. As if you can recall, there we define different parameters like jobconf.set number of reducers. So here it's the same thing, minus jobconf and map ret or reduce your task equals to 4. So all the parameters which I was able to define over there, they will remain same. Only the thing is I have to use minus jobconf, and that will be used as job configuration. But in the latest version, rather than jobconf, you can use minus d. And the jobconf is getting deprecated. The minus d is the newest option for that. So you can just say minus d and the parameter name and equals to 4. But the number of mappers does not make sense. This is a kind of hint only. As you now understand, this number of mappers will always depend on your number of splits. But definitely number of reducers will make sense. So this is practically what happens at the back end. Your map task sends your data to a streaming process, that is your streaming mapper. The streaming mapper sends the output to your map task. In between sort and shuffle phase applies. Your data goes to a reduce task, which sends your data to your reducer streaming process, that gives the process output to your reduce task, and that is outputted to your SDFS. And in between I have written some separator keys. I will talk about them in a minute. But this is what is happening at the backend. So this cat command was ran over here, or the cut command was ran over here, and the unique command was ran over here. So when I'm running commands like this, and say I want to split my data on some keys and values, or I want to basically create keys and values out of my data, I can use this separator to separate my data. So over here, let's look into this. Let's look into this example, then I'll explain it. So I'll open this slide and I'll open the command prompt also. So here what I'm saying is jobconf.stream.map.output.field.separator, which is what? Stream.map.output.field.separator. So what this configuration tells me is the data which is outputted from my streaming map process is separated on key and values, and the separator which is used for creating keys and values is nothing but what I've configured in my program. So what I've configured over there is the dot. So the dot will, so anything prior to the dot will become my key, and anything after to the dot will become my value. And this is how my data would be passed to my sort and shuffle phase. So the default so this will basically help you to change your keys and values pair while you are flowing your data across your streaming processes. So these are the 4 phases where you can define your different separators to separate your key and value pair if you want to deal with your keys and value pairs separately. And the next thing which I have configured over here is I said stream.num.map.output.key.fields equals to 3. So let me open this file first. That will make more sense. This might be a little confusing, but do let me know if you are not able to get this point. So here this is my data. Data is separated 1.2.3.4, 11.12.13. So here what I said is the separator when my data is outputted from my streaming mapper is dot. And what I'm saying is that the third dot should be taken as a separator. So num.map.output.key.fields is third. Similarly, we can use for other phases also, input to the mapper, output to the reducer, and all those things. So what I said is the third dot use as a separator. So my key would become 1, 2, 3, and the value will become 4. The key will become for this record set is 11, 12, 13, and my value will become 40. For this it becomes 2.3.4, and the value will become 5, and so on. So this is how my data would be separated, and in the reducer part and the mapper part, I'm not doing anything great. I'm just getting out the output, but I am just trying to show you how you can separate your keys and values there. So if I run this program, can anyone tell me what will be the output? So here I'm saying that separating on the third value, and on the mapper and reducer I'm just saying cat. So can anyone ping me by the time this program is running, what would be my output? Not rice?
I think 414 561
No. Keys are okay. So what I was saying over there was when you read the data from text input format, in that case the keys are created as a byte offset, so those are ignored. But when your data is flowing across your data flow from a mapper to reducer, keys are not ignored.
So then I think 4.3.2 and then space and then 1 kind of thing.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 will become your key, and the reducer by default the separator for keys and values is tab. So the reducer phase by default separator of keys and values are the tab only, and your data is the key tab value, key tab value, key tab value. Make sense to everyone, or shall I explain it again? Avijat, Akash, Girish, Kamaljeet. Quite silence today. Okay, so I'll just assume you are getting it. And Avijat send a smiley. Okay. So that is what I was saying over here. So I can define my separators, what I want to, which I want, basically what keys I want to create, and those separators might work for you, and while you are doing the data processing. So at different phases you can define the different separators. So over there, if I have defined the separator from the reducer output phase as a dot, so instead of 1.2.3 is tab 4, my data would have been 1.2.3.4 only. So I defined a separator of in the last phase, that is a reducer output phase, somewhere over here. If I have defined this thing as a dot or this thing as a hash, my data would be produced as 1.2.3 hash 4. So this is how I could deal with the different text related data, and I can do a processing on the data on the fly. I can create the key and value pairs. Okay, not a problem. So after that, the thing is, when I'll be passing my files, say when I pass my Python file or my any other streaming language file, that file need to be available on that node where that data need to be processed. So the block of data where that need to be processed, this file has to be running over there. This file need to be ran over there. So that if that file need to be ran over there, the Python file need to be available over there. So I have to pass those files also with my program, and this is how I can pass my files or my jar files which are required to run my program, so that they are available locally on your data nodes to do the processing. So for that I have to give an option called file, -file or -archive. So if these things are used in your program to process the data, those are available in your local data nodes to do the processing. So when my local data node will say Python mapper.py, your mapper.py should be available on the local data node to run it. So by the help of -file option or -archive option, that is available on your local data nodes.
And so name node will be responsible to distribute it to data nodes, a copy of that file?
So if
Whenever
you,
that runs?
so it's not the name node which will be distributing it. If you can recall when your job tracker created your job, it also copied the required files along with the jar file. If you can recall over there, I said job.xml and the jar files. So this so these files are distributed in the cluster when your job is created by your job tracker kind of. And these are
that is kind of
distributed cache. So this is called distributed, something called distributed cache also comes in picture over here. Not the distributed cache. This is a different concept. But your files are distributed in the cluster on the data nodes where your streaming would be running up.
And that is the first task of the job, right? I mean, make sure that the code and input files are distributed and
yes.
I mean, do the due diligence that it is there with every node.
Yes. So that -file option would ensure that is available locally on your node. So this is again one of the example, again the same kind of example.
And is this a temporary copy, Miraj?
Yes.
Is this a temporary copy of these files or
temporary copy? Temporary copy. It will go to temp folder, and that temp folder will be referenced while you are running it. And once your job ran, that is deleted. So when you are running Oozie kind of thing, sometimes you might get an error, cannot access kind of thing. So those access later permission comes up because Oozie as a user do not have rights to write in the temp directory. So then you have to change the user related permissions for the Oozie user so that can read and write to the temp directory. So as I was saying, you can create a mapper and a reducer in any other language. So here these are the few examples. So let's look into the Python, how I can create a word count example in Python.
Miraj, just a step back. What is Oozie?
Okay, Oozie is a workflow engine where you can configure all these things. So say I want in my data pipeline, I want to create a workflow where my data would be scooped in with the help of a scoop, then processed with the help of first MapReduce and then Pig and then Hive and then exported again with the help of scoop. So rather than doing these jobs individually, I create the workflow and we schedule the workflows to run daily or at a pre-desired frequency. So Oozie helps you in creating the workflow and doing a scheduling on them.
Is the Oozie interface also available from Ambari?
Not from the Ambari, from the Hive UI. So I'll show you how to use it from the UI. You can just drag and drop, create your workflows and schedule them directly from the UI.
So it's a task scheduler.
Not exactly a task scheduler. There's a workflow engine, acyclic workflows. You can create acyclic workflows and you can schedule them also. So the coordinators help you to coordinate or schedule them. So let's write a Python MapReduce program. It's very much similar to your MapReduce word. Only the thing is now the language is changing and we are reading the keys and value pairs in the Python. So the same word count example. So your data is coming something like this to your Python. For each key and value pair, I am producing the word as a key and the value as 1. that is same to your what we were doing in the Java word. And so this is my Python program looks like. I am reading it from standard input, sys.standard in. I am reading line by line. For each line, I am splitting the line based on spaces, and for each space, I am producing word, comma 1. So this is not I, this is 1. So for each word, I am producing word, comma 1, and similar, exactly similar to your Java code, only the language, the interface, how I am interacting with my system is changed. But there's a little change on the reducer phase. If you can recall, on the reducer side in my Java programs, I was getting key and pair of values. So rather than getting the pair of values here, because these languages, there could be different support from different streaming languages. So your Hadoop Streaming will send you key and value pairs only, rather than giving you the key and pair of all the values which are associated with the key. But those values, those key and value pairs would be sorted on the key. So if you are getting the key for, say, in this example, I produce D as the key and 1 as the value. So say there were 10 Ds in my program. So all the 10 Ds, 10 D will come one by one only. And after that, the next key after the D in the sorted order will come. So that thing you have to take care in the reducer part. And in the reducer part, I am just printing the word and the count. So I am looping with all with the keys one by one. This is not the whole reducer program, but I'm just showing the showing a part of the reducer program. So on the reducer side, I am just doing the word and the count. Over there, I am just counting the keys and the values and producing at the end for each key the count. So the little difference is, rather than getting the key and the pair of values, I am getting over here values one by one. And I have to get the in my logic, I have to write the logic to find out the boundaries when my key is changing. So just give me a minute. Just give me a sec. I'll be back in a sec.
Is there a sound there, or I lost some?
No, you did not lost. I said I'll be back in a minute, so I just.
It was a pin drop silence. Okay.
So what I was saying is only the difference is, rather than getting the pair of values for with the key, I get key and value pairs, but the keys and value pairs are sorted on the key. So it's my responsibility to find out the boundaries when my keys are changing while I'm processing the data at the reducer end. So that's the only difference over here, and that is the difference because your streaming languages might not be supporting arrays kind of things and all those things. So your keys and values are coming one by one, and I have to find out the boundaries when my keys are changing. So, and the reducer part, I'm doing the same thing. This is a part of the reducer only. Over here, there would be a logic to find out whether the key has changed, and as the key has changed, I'm producing the word and the count, and I'm now doing the sum for the next key. So I'll show you in the real reducer which is there. And to run this program, all I have to do is give the input path from where I have to read the data, give the output file where I have to write the data, and minus file option I'm defining this Python would be available wheresoever my data is getting processed on the mapper side, and this is my reducer. So these two files would be available on your nodes where your data is getting processed. And the mapper command is nothing but Python, your streaming Python, and reducer command is nothing Python and your reducer Python. So let me show you over there. So if you see cat word count mapper, so here we are just splitting the words with a space and producing word comma 1 as the key and value pair. On the reducer side, so on the reducer side, I've added one more logic. If my key is changing with the previous one somewhere. If my key is changing from the previous one, so I am reading it line by line, but I'm just checking if the last key is similar to what I've got now. If that is not similar, I'm printing the last key total and reinitializing the total to 0 for the new key, and I'm looping it. So if I say so this is how I can test my data. I just say the file, the Python, sort and word count. So this will, if I just run this will produce your keys and value pair. So each word and the corresponding key and value pair. So each word and comma 1. And if I say sort, so my data would be sorted on the keys. And my reducer did the sum of all the keys. And now I can pass this thing to the Hadoop word. So I'm just defining Hadoop jar, the jar name. So Hadoop jar is lying at this user lib, and Hadoop map reduce and the streaming jar name and the corresponding version of your jar. The file minus word count mapper minus word count reducer, and what is my mapper and what is my reducer, and input and output locations. So and this will trigger your program, and I think the output, okay, there's a new output, but the output directly might be existing. It might give an error. I'm not sure whether the output directory is existing or not. Looks like it's not there. It's running and it will produce the output for you. So it's pretty easy. All you have to do is you have to use whatsoever streaming language you are familiar with. Whatsoever scripting language you are familiar with, you can use that scripting language, and you can write your mapper and reducer in that scripting language.
So Miraj, this is Abhijat.
Yeah.
The two languages I normally use at work are, one is R, the other one is PowerShell. I hope I can use, I know you've already said this before, R I can use.
PowerShell, I'm not sure what is PowerShell. I heard PowerShell first time. I am not sure what is PowerShell. Whether if you can read from PowerShell from the Unix, if you say cat something from the Unix and you can read from PowerShell something like this, you can use it in Hadoop Streaming. So if you can read from your PowerShell on the input.
That's the thing really. PowerShell is like Windows scripting language. It's like the new DOS. That's why I wanted to check with you, because this is Unix system. And
so there I doubt if you can if you can read from your PowerShell something like this on the input stream on the Unix word, you can definitely use that as a streaming language.
Okay, thanks.
So that means Unix file system should support it. That's what you mean?
Yeah, if your scripting language is capable enough to read your data from the input and output files of the Unix.
Okay.
Because your Hadoop would be, this would be installed on your some Unix or Linux cluster only, or Solaris. So see, I've got the same output in sorted format. So that was a big file which has been passed to this program as compared to the previous file which I've used for Unix, and this is the output for this file. So for Abhidat R, you can also use something like R Hadoop and R Hive. There's something called R Hive. There's something called R Hadoop. There's you can even pass your scripting to Pig and Hive also. You can define over there also. You can create your URIs also in the language. You can do anything. The system is highly configurable. Any questions on this part? Anything which you want to ask? So that's all from the streaming part. It's pretty simple. Only the thing is what changes is rather than writing your mappers and reducer in the language which you were writing, now you are writing that in another scripting language, and rest all is pretty much same. The system remains same, everything remains same. So only the thing which differs is you can write your mappers and reducers. So we still have half an hour around left. Do you want to try something on the streaming, or you want me to start a new topic? Or if you have any questions over here, we can discuss that. So let's try out one example of streaming that will give you a little idea of how this is working up. And then we have the Uzi and the Tableau part which is left. So Tableau I will not be going in very detail, but I'll tell you how to connect it, how Tableau is used, how to create a dashboard on Tableau, how the data looks on the Tableau, how you can drag and drop the things on the Tableau, and you can visualize the data. So Uzi would take around half an hour to 45 minutes, not more than that. And your Tableau part would take around an hour's time. So that would be around 1.5 hour to 2 hours thing which are left on the presentation side. And then I'll discuss the project part. So project, you try to run it, and once you run it, then only it will make sense for us to discuss that. So then I'll leave it to you people. You people decide on when you can do it. You drop me an email, and then we'll have the class to discuss the project when you have done something, or if you are facing any problems, then we'll have the class to discuss that. Otherwise, having the class next day itself will not make sense, because you will not be really able to try that project. So right now, shall I give you some example to try on the streaming part, or shall I give you an overview of the Uzi that would take 30 to 45 minutes? Okay, so short. So let me share you some data. Let's use that dot file only. Where's that gone? And let's try to understand how the data is changed. Where's that gone? Okay, this is the file. So you can create this file in your SDFS and just remove the extra character which is there after 8 and try to sort this data based on the first thing after first value before the dot and print the output in the same fashion as the as it is. So all your 4 digits are separated by dot only. I don't want anything other than dot, tabs or anything. And but the data and the output should be sorted on my first value before the dot. So sort this data based on the you have to create the keys which is nothing but the value before your first dot, and in the reducer file you have to do some changes so that your data is printed in the same fashion as it is right now rather than separated by the tab.
Can we do it in the Python?
You can do it in Python also. You can write, you can directly use the separator which I have told you, the separator commands which will create your key and the keys and value pair separator. You can use anything. It's again all your wish. So Kamaljeet, when you were saying you will not be there in the next class, I think you are already much familiar with the Tableau part. So only the thing which you might miss is the Uzi part. So Uzi is nothing, it's directly from the UI. So it's very easy to create workflows in the Uzi. You have to just drag and drop the things. You can look at the recording part. If still you have any questions, you can directly get touch base with me. So this is where your streaming jar is lying. You might be requiring this also to run the program. And I'll just put the PPT also there in the shared drive because you might be referring that thing also. So, I'll just put the PPT also. So I've placed the PPT also over there in the shared drive, and I've also pinged you the command where is your streaming jar lying in your sandbox. Avijat, if you want to install R on this sandbox, you can also do that and can try your R thing also. I'll share you the commands how to install R and other R Hadoop related packages. So you can interact directly on this sandbox with R. So I'm sending you the details how to install R and the corresponding packages which are required for R Hadoop. R Hadoop will help you to directly create your mappers and reducers in the R and directly submit it from your R Studio to your MapReduce to your Hadoop world. And this thing will take you around and 3-4 hours to do. I think based on your internet speed and other things, it might take 3 to 4 hours to install everything on your sandbox. And then you can open the RStudio on 8787 and can trigger your R Hadoop kind of thing from your program. So just Google R Hadoop, you will find out how to create a mapper and reducer. You have to just create a mapper function by the name of mapper and a function by the name of reducers. And there is as we created over there the submit function, the job function, which was really triggering our job. So there we have to just define what is my mapper function and what is my reducer function, from where I have to read the data and from where to where I have to write the data, and everything remains same. The concept remains same. So this is how you can download and install Java on your sandbox. Okay, so it's not coming fully on the chat window. I'll share the file. No, I can't copy. This is a big file. It's not coming fully on the chat window. I'll share it with you.
So Miraj, is the package not on the CRAN website?
Yeah, package is there on the CRAN website, but some of the packages are there on Revolution Analytics, so CRAN.Revolution Revolution Analytics. So you have to download it from there. And R Hadoop will require your RMR and R Hadoop and Hadoop Streaming. And you have to do little bit more. Some things I think you would be familiar with all of those things. And there are some dependent packages like RJSonio, RJava, and some others. So those are dependent things. You might keep on getting errors while installing that. So I'll just share with you that have all the dependencies installed. And R, I hope you would be knowing how to install R and RStudio.
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
So anyone able to get the output or getting any errors? Greece, I didn't heard a single word from you today. Are you there?
Here.
Okay. So you were pretty quiet, silent today, Monday morning. Kamaljeet, are you there? Looks like he's also away. So Kamaljeet, are you there? Looks like he's away. Anyone getting any errors or anything? Any issues? Okay. So you can just try it out. If you face any issues, we can discuss it, or do you want to wait right now and try it out?
I will try later.
Okay, sure. You can just try it out. If you face any issues, we can discuss that thing in the next class. So on the Hadoop Streaming part, I've shared the PPT also, and the code which I was running is lying there on the same shared drive. So you can look it over there. So there's a folder inside code called streaming, and the Python code and the The examples files are also lying over there, so you can just look at them also and the streaming part. And in the next class, we'll look into the UZI part and the table part.
Okay.
Okay, sure. Then thanks everyone for your time. Let's meet next weekend, and by the time just try it out different things. And if you have any questions, you can directly drop me an email.
Thanks, Niraj.
Thank
All
you.
right, sure.
Thank
Thanks,
you everyone.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.